We believe that Bulgaria has made a strategic and rational choice by becoming a member of the EU, and this is a choice without an alternative because this is the only pathway which would allow our country to develop. We trust that Bulgaria should stop with the survival format and move on to development. And the MoveBG platform was launched because we believe we have to change our perspective. 7 years after Bulgaria became a member of the EU, should have created a confidence that we need to be a single community. We should be able to understand Europe and interpret what that membership means. The EU is not just a union of interests, it's a union of a spirit, of values, and this was said by Professor Ivan Shishmanov in 1926 in Vienna at the time of the first Pan-European Congress. The plenary session of that Congress where he made a speech is actually the first forum where Bulgarian language was used, and today Bulgarian language is an official EU language. We are citizens of Europe, which allows us to be very proactive in European processes, to travel freely, to study, to work where we feel best, to have access to European practices and funding. And sometimes we forget about these achievements and abilities which Europe offers, and we think they're a given, not the result of much effort. We shouldn't take the EU as a given. It's a project in a flux, particularly now when we have so many geopolitical and economic challenges. There is a growing Euroscepticism and disappointment amongst European citizens because of the financial and economic crisis. Technological development has given a new dynamics to development around the world, and it has created the ground for much tension and frictions, and it's been very hard for Europe to find a single position on important economic and political issues such as the crisis in the Ukraine, the expansionist policies of Russia today. Being a member of the EU, however, these challenges for Europe are also challenges for Bulgaria. Their solutions mean that Bulgaria should be very active because the European project today is being transformed and reshuffled. And in order to handle these challenges and in order to have a uniform position on economic and social issues, Europe more than ever needs its citizens and their voices. Now is the time for us as citizens to make our voices heard, to propose solutions out of the box, because Europe's achievements have to be defended and elaborated on, and this can only happen if civil society is an active participant. In the past year, we've seen that the participation in decision-making by people has been enhanced, and there are many question marks about the existence of political governance. This breeds the need for new forms of association and development of solidarity models across Europe. MoveBG is such a format, and MoveBG is a platform which brings together constructive ideas and joint efforts and concerted efforts. Why have we chosen to work on this topic? Objectively speaking, Europe is not very high profile in our lives in Bulgaria. That's why we need to further elaborate the instrumentalities that EU membership offers. That is why in these 3 months prior to the European elections, we have devoted our efforts to the European topic. The MoveBG aims at looking at Europe from a different angle, handling and tackling the challenges, focusing on Bulgaria's role and the participation of people. And the initiatives within the MoveBG platform have generated and further developed this initiative so that the European Union will be capable of tackling the challenges better, also taking into account national aspects. And today's conference is the final event in the program. We will be debating important integrational issues, and the answers we get will provide a picture of the directions in which we will move. We will build upon recommendations as to how Europe needs to be built up and how Bulgaria fits into that. We've partnered with the Information Office of the European Parliament, the Open Society Institute, which, as you know, for a third year running has been developing the catch-up index. And we're very happy that they have decided to present their annual report at this conference. We have a media partner, you Inside Media. This is a media which follows up on European developments, Balkan European policies, the global context, and Bulgaria's place in these processes. I'm extremely happy to have you all here. We will be participating in a very interesting conference, and this is the atmosphere we've sought through this 3-month program. And we have tried to change the focus and to help all Bulgarians look at themselves as active Europeans, Europeans who shape Europe rather than passive recipients of European policies. Allow me now to give the floor to Georgi Stoychev, who will say a few words about the catch-up index and the positions pertaining to it.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to congratulate Sasha for organizing today's venue. I believe it's very timely, and the way it was organized, structured, provides an opportunity for us to address some of the key risks that the European Union is facing right now, including the risks generated from the lack of homogeneity in the Union after the most recent expansion, the lack of homogeneity that undermines the potential of the Union to implement common policies. The second type of risks that should be addressed today, I believe, are the risks related to the capacity or incapacity of the Union to formulate an adequate common stance position in the relations with Russia in response to the crisis. And last but not least, I believe we have to address the risks related to the alienation and withdrawal of citizens from the European project and the growing Euroscepticism. All those European risks have their Bulgarian dimension. We're the poorest member state, and that's why we're most interested in having policies to support cohesion and support catching up. And also, we are facing the risk not to achieve the average levels of development ever. We're one of the member states that we are dependent. We have energy dependence from Russia, and that's why we're facing the risk to be the weakest link on the one hand in the formulation of the common European response to the crisis in Ukraine, and on the other hand to be among the member states that will suffer most damage if the crisis radicalizes. Regarding the role of civil society, the upsurge in Euroscepticism, I would like to say the following. On the 25th of May, the Bulgarian citizens will vote for the institutions they trust most. A series of opinion polls through the years have shown that the share of Bulgarian citizens that express more trust in European institutions is thrice as much than those who trust national institutions. At the same time, we're witnessing the paradox that the fewest Bulgarian citizens that vote for institutions in which they have most trust. Bulgaria also is one of the member states where the European Union enjoys highest approval. There was an opinion poll last year which shows that 70% of the Bulgarian citizens approve of the membership in the European Union and would vote in favor of this membership if there was such voting. Why? Because the free movement, work, European funds. Euroscepticism, however, has a very concrete, not negligible dimensions for Bulgaria, and they need to be addressed as well. First, we can see a decline, a serious decline in the trust of Bulgarian citizens to the transforming power of the European Union. In 2008, over 17% of those in the European Union thought that the European Union will bring about more rules, more legitimacy in Bulgaria. And now we have twice as few citizens who say this. And in terms of the role and the interest of the Bulgarian citizens towards integration, this is also a topic, and also the Schengen membership is not a priority, no longer a priority. And also we have a higher percentage of Bulgarian citizens who are against membership in Bulgaria into the Eurozone than those who support this membership. And last but not least, I would like to mention that 11% of the Bulgarian citizens believe that they will vote for a party that wants Bulgaria to be out of the European Union. And this cannot be neglected. So in this perspective, I will go back to what Sasha said at the beginning. If the Bulgarian European choice is irreversible, it's not, however, unproblematic. And I truly believe that now in this conference we'll be able to address some of those challenges. And the conference, I believe, will have at least a small contribution to overcoming this paradox, having very few Bulgarians voting for institutions that we trust most. Thank you for your attention. Teodor Stoychev from the Information Office of the European Parliament. He's our partner at this event. Thank you. Dear guests, I'm very pleased to welcome you to this conference, and I'm very happy that we as an institution we're able to have this debate, which I think is really very important, very necessary. We all know that throughout the past years, Europe has been affected not only by economic and financial crisis, but also a crisis of European identity and values. More and more we can feel the need to rethink and reinvent those values that created the European Union as we know it today, especially having in mind all the political movements that are in favor of the disintegration of the European Union. And at the backdrop of all those European issues that we've been witnessing, Bulgaria has its own debate. We are discussing those things. We are part of this when we talk about the European Union. We start talking in the we are having a small talk with our neighbors, and our membership, especially the media and all the public discussions. It's all about money and European funds that we want to have. Sometimes we get this money, sometimes we don't get it. It's suspended and so on. So this is the debate about Bulgaria and the European Union. Bulgaria is a full member of the European Union and has powers for all the decision making, and we have to follow the legal order. So this, however, is not perceived adequately here. And I believe that we have some inferiority complex as like a candidate country, not a full member state. And we perceive things as a country that has to comply with some conditions, terms, but it's not part of the decision-making process. And this is very wrong to me. In this context, I'm very happy that we have now a venue to debate those things, to think over our contribution to the European Union, and that's why we have this platform, MoveBG, and I'm very happy that you're able to focus civil energy of young Bulgarians who can talk about those issues, and you can successfully discuss broad issues like education, corruption, civil participation, election system, and also refugees, the Ukraine crisis, and also you can discuss pan-European issues, and you can also ask, what do we want? MoveBG is able to put the European and Bulgarian dimension in one line, which is commendable. Thank you, Teodor. I would like to thank both colleagues for those encouraging words. I believe we will have a very interesting conference.